Hi, this is Kai. I'm with the eAnalytics development team, and today I want to show you how easy it is to install eAnalytics using our eAnalytics Debian package in the version 0921. First, let's have a look at what we need to get started. We need a server, obviously with an internet connection, and a fresh Ubuntu 10.04 server installation. If you prefer to work with the current version 12.04, there's a different video tutorial and a different Debian package for that. We need access to the server. If you have a direct access, you can of course use that. I'm using SSH-based access to connect to my server. And we need to obtain the eAnalytics Debian package in the version 0921. If you have any further questions regarding the installation, please check out our eAnalytics forum at eanalytics.de or send us an email to info@eanalytics.de. Next, let's have a look at how to obtain the eAnalytics Debian package. Just browse to our website eanalytics.de. Within Resources, you will find the link to the downloads. Click on that. On the next page, on the right-hand side, you can sign up for the eAnalytics community, which I already did and saved my user credentials, so I'm just clicking on Login. And the next page have all the eAnalytics downloads. The first tab is for the Debian package. See, it's the version 0921 for Ubuntu 10.04 server. Just click on the link and you will download the Debian package. We skip ahead to the end of the download. Now that we have the Debian package, we need to move it to our server. I'm using WinSCP to move the file to my server. As you can see, I prepared a connection to my eAnalytics test server. And now I'm just dragging the Debian package file from my personal download folder to the home directory of the eAnalytics test server. Copy. We skip ahead to the end of the file transfer. Now that we have the eAnalytics Debian package on the server, we can start with the server preparations. On page 5 of the eAnalytics installation guide for the Debian package, you will find some system requirements, some software that needs to be installed. Of course, you can just type in all of these commands. I'm creating a little script that will do that for us. I prepared a PuTTY connection to the server. My favorite editor is VI, so I'm using that to create the script. Typing I to copy the contents of the guide. Right mouse click, and I just copied all the commands from the installation guide. I added the options Q and Y, which means that I don't want to be asked if the software should be installed or not. Escape, point, W for write and Q for quit. Now I need to change the user rights to the script because otherwise it couldn't be really executed. And now I'm starting the script. And all the software will be installed. Now that's usually the time you want to get your cup of coffee. This may take a few moments, and we're skipping ahead to the first prompt that we will ask for. This will be the password for the MySQL root user. You will be asked 3 times. Just hit enter each time you will be asked, because we're going to set the MySQL root password later within the installation of the eAnalytics Debian package. Here we go. Your server is ready to install the eAnalytics Debian package. As you can see here, we have the eAnalytics Debian package in the same directory, and now we're typing in the command to actually install the Debian package. Sudo, if you're not root already, dpkg-i to install and the name of the Debian package. First thing will be installed is the MaxMind free database for the assignment of locations to IP addresses. Now it's downloading the free MaxMind database, and now it's installing the required Perl libraries. But you don't have to do anything to achieve that. That's all part of the Debian package. Now you're being asked to choose a password for the eAnalytics processing user. Of course, you can choose your own password. I'm just typing this in as an example. And now we're going to set the root password for the MySQL database. You can choose your own password, of course, here as well. Just typing in that for this tutorial. Now you're being asked if you want to set the parameters for the informant. That means if a job aborts, doesn't work, fails, you can have the system send an email to you. You can say no if you don't want to set up the parameters. I'm saying yes so that you can see what the options are. We need an SMTP server to send the mails from. We might need a user for that, and of course a password for that user. We can type in a sender email address. Of course, you have to take the domain that you have your emails in, and you can define the recipients of these messages. I'm just typing in one of my addresses, and it's all been set up for me. And now I define the domain name or the IP address through which I can access the server. That's necessary for the redirect. So just type in the domain name or the IP address through which the server will be available. For our example, that's test1004.eanalytics.de. And here you go. That's the installation. It's complete. The next thing would be to check if everything works. The first thing that you should check is if your eAnalytics portal is available. Just type in the domain name or IP address that you specified earlier for your server. And as you can see, the login page appears. That means the portal is available. User would be admin and the password would be welcome. And now we see that the portal really is available. Here in the settings area, you can change the password for the admin user, which might be a good idea. Of course, there are no data here in your dashboard. That's because you didn't set up the eAnalytics tag yet. And although that's a completely different video tutorial, or will be, we can check if the eAnalytics tag server works in general. So we send a manual request to that server. This will usually be done with the eAnalytics tag automatically. A is for a session ID, G is for domain ID, that's 100 because that's the default domain ID, and E is for the page title. As you can see, the resources available, that means that the eAnalytics tag server works fine as well. We can also check that on the server itself. We move to the location where the requests are being stored. And as you can see, there have been log files created. That means that the eAnalytics tag server works just fine. Another thing that we could check would be if the processing works correctly. We use cron_tab to trigger our job chains. So we have a look, sudo if you're not the root user already. It's important that we use the user eAnalytics because the cron_tab jobs are stored within this user, and the option L to just list them. And then we see, for example, the first chain that processes the requests that's being sent to the eAnalytics tag server. We can execute the chains manually by sudoing as the eAnalytics user and then copying this part of the job to the command line, and now the chain will be executed. It was a bit quick, but we see that chain 1 finished okay. That means that the data is safely secure in the first database level. We can also execute the second part of the chain to have the data, or the second chain to have the data also in the reports. Data means the 1 or 2 requests that I've made earlier. We could also use this opportunity to activate the job processing. If you're ready for that, then you just have to change the option L to the option E to edit the cron_tab for the user eAnalytics and remove the command signs from the informant chain, chain 1 and chain 2. Chains 3, 4, 5 and 6 are for the Twitter and AdWords processing. As we haven't set that up yet, I just leave them commented, which means they are not being triggered, and the daily chains as well. I save the cron_tab, and now the processing is active, and we will later see in the portal the status of the processing, because that's also being written from the informant to the database, so we can see that in the portal as well. So if we move back to the portal, log in again, then we will see the one session that I started should be reported in the first dashboard. Yeah, you see, 1 unique cookie today, 1 first-time visitor. That's great. You see the processing actually works, 100% bounce rate. And if you click on the admin page or the admin dashboard, you will get an overview of the current status of all the job chains. So you don't have to watch them with a Linux terminal. You can see these things here in the portal as well. So you're all set up to go. Next thing would be to implement the eAnalytics tag. Thank you for your time. For more information, check out our websites, integrateanalytics.de or eAnalytics.de, and various social media channels. Have fun with eAnalytics.